I think our biggest loss was $140,000. Actually, I know our biggest loss was 140,000 in a session, which probably 3 hours.
So a lot of people see that and they wonder, where did you get the money to be able to do that?
The amount of money, isn't really all that much. I mean, it's not as much as people think. And yes, we have some big losses and we've had some big wins and we keep really good records and we play as smart as humanly possible. Like, I think we put a lot of effort into like where we're going to play and when we're going to play. And we try to, minimize the house edge, which, on a slot machine probably runs anywhere from 5% to 15% of every coin in. If you played it for an infinite mathematical horizon, that's what you would lose, that percentage of your coin in. And so we do everything to try to like make those numbers smaller. But we were just talking yesterday, the updated number as of like yesterday, we're down $315,000 in approximately the last 18 months when we started really keeping accurate records. So what is 300 divided by 18? And you're smart guys, what, like 20 grand a month ish is all we've lost.
Give or take.
Yeah. So now it's like, 20 grand a month. Like, that will sound like, that's, that's nothing. But at this stage, especially, with all the revenue that we're making, that's just a cost of doing business. Now, sadly, the IRS doesn't see it that way. So you can't write off gambling losses against active income. But it's not really that much money, I guess is the question. So how I made it, I don't know that it's necessarily relevant. I mean, I was in sales my whole life. I worked really hard and I bought real estate and did some Airbnbs and bought a property management company and had, some net worth south of 40 million.
Yeah. What was your first job?
My parents were awesome, rest in peace. And, really good example, hard workers, owned a small business together, an insurance agency. And so even though we lived in like an upper middle class neighborhood and we were far from poor, we were fine. My dad did well. It was, get up when it's freezing cold, and go do this paper route where you have to like walk all the way down this massive hill, every pet house on one side, then walk back up, the other side. And it wasn't pleasant, but and literally, I think I remember it was a once a week paper route. It wasn't too stressful, but once a week. And I think I remember my check for the month was like $7 and something. I'm old as the hills, but it was in like the 19th, like probably in like the early 70s, And then when I got into high school, dishwasher, like at a restaurant, then busboy. I mean, so like actual work, and then I went to college, got a degree in business economics. And then my first job was at a bank, a management training program at a small thrift and loan. So and then that lasted a very short period of time because I felt like a caged animal. Like it was just not my natural state of being to be in a 9 to 5. Like I just didn't do it. I lasted 18 months and then that was the last of jobs in my career.
When in your life would you say you made that jump to being like, okay, like I'm doing all right to, okay, I'm doing well?
Oh, that's a great question. I love you guys. Like, in fact, I've done some homework, very impressive. So how much money do you need to live, right? You have to look at that. So if you need $20,000 a month, you need to have $240,000 a year after tax, right? I would imagine. Okay. So to get $240,000 a year after tax, and then it depends on what you're making on your portfolio, right? So if you have $10 million and you're making 5% on your money, right? You have $500,000, right? So I guess like for a long time, I that was a goal, I was like, get to $10 million and then you get $500,000 a year, even if you get okay return on your money and you can live on that. So I would say when I hit around $8 to $10 million in net worth, I felt like I had actual money. Then there's like the next level is, can you fly private? And then, which you probably wouldn't want to do because it's ridiculous, but I absolutely enjoy flying private. Like some of the casinos have planes, and then once you do that, and then next day you're getting like strip searched, going through TSA. That's never really happened, but you get the idea. Like, it's like, all this aggravation versus like driving up to the plane. It's like, but for that, you need to have a net worth more like the one that the imaginary internet people think that I have. And that's one of my still like, I still have goals financially. Like I'm still going strong at 61, not giving up. I want to get jet money.
What was the process to getting from, let's just say, zero to $10 million?
The best investments I ever made were real estate because it hides the money from me. I have this habit of if like I have money in the bank, like I find a way to spend it, you know, and with real estate, you buy it and you hold it and it generates cash flow and then it appreciates, you know? So, I mean, even like my home in Vegas is a good example. I paid $800,000 for that home in 2012. And
Wow.
at the highest, it was worth close to $3 million. I think you mentioned this earlier. There's been a little pullback in the valuations here in Vegas. So I'd say now it's maybe 2.4, 2.5, 2.6, that range. But that's a pretty nice chunk of change just for living in a home with a $650,000 mortgage at 2.75%.
And why real estate?
I just like it. So like I am a perpetual goof off. Like I'm a kid. I swear I'm like a 16-year-old. I just like to have fun nonstop. Like I do not like people telling me what to do. That's why I didn't do well in a job. And so like I liked I bought a house in Lake Havasu because we used to love going to the lake when my kids were little. We'd go in Minnesota. So my parents' cabin. But at a certain point in time, I'm going to get my own lake house, you know? And then that was when I heard about the concept of Airbnb when it was first starting. So we're probably talking early 2000s range, something like that. And, I thought, hey, wouldn't that be cool to have a house that you could also just rent out short term, make money on it, and then also use it when you wanted to. Now, then I bought a place in Costa Rica and I really like going to Costa Rica. So I started buying houses in Costa Rica and the focus there. And so it's another cash flow property. So my philosophy is like buy stuff where you want to go. And then, so that was, I mean, maybe not the brightest philosophy in the world, but if I can somehow combine a vacation and a vocation, you know, do that. If it's something that's fun, that's always been my overriding philosophy. If it's not fun, I'm not doing it.
Why not stocks?
I like stocks. I mean, I have a very balanced portfolio managed by, you know, I try to just not pay attention to that, although I still like check Bitcoin stocks and everything like 100 times a day, like on my phone. But I have the majority of my money at like a big, you know, financial place and they just do it. And I have a lot of stocks and bonds and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I certainly am not a financial whiz kid, but I've done okay for myself and I have enough money to go and gamble.